Hello, hello, beloveds, and welcome to A Spiritual Remedy. My name is Sunshine Day, and it is a joy to greet you on this day and to simply bring to you some spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation. Let me know where you are and where you're hanging out from. I see that folks are gathering on now, and just say hello. Say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're visiting from. Hey, Jason, how's it going? How are you? No, how are you? I am well. And of course, our sponsor, Vida Spiritual Learning Center. So glad to have you with us today. And Jason says, "Hey, Long Beach, what's going on, Long Beach in the house?" I'm so glad that you are with us today. Ah, we got to get together, Jason. I'm here, and what a great opportunity to hang out with everybody today. So today, I want to talk a little bit about what actions to take when you are, hi Bertha, what actions to take when you are feeling down, when you're feeling attacked, when you are feeling like things are not going your way. I certainly struggle with this lots, when we get to a place where we having differences. Hey, sunny day. Yeah, a lot of love in the LBC today. Um, I certainly feel that way lots, especially not seeing eye to eye with folks, right? And um, what is a practice, or what is it that you do? So you're in an argument with somebody or a disagreement with someone, and they start name calling, or they start trying to tell you about who you are. What do you do? Like, what happens? I mean, these are real life situations. I experience them as well, in relationship, in marriage, in all kinds of situations and circumstances, especially when things don't go the way I want them to go, or when things get tough. So I want to know from you, what do you do when you get called out? What do you do when you get called a name? Whether someone is trying to belittle you, or they're hurt and then they're trying to hurt you. What is your response or reaction? I would really like to know, from the viewers, from all of you who are on today, what do you do? What do you do in those circumstances, in those situations? How do you react, or how do you respond? I think I want to know, because I know what I do, um, and I know what I want to do, and and I think that it's important, because it's about relationships and relating. It's about, decisions as to like who you're relating with, and what comes out of these relationships and how important they are. Um, so yeah, that's like me. What do you mean, Jason? That like me. What does that mean? I want to know. Yeah, so how do you respond? And the reason why I want to know is because I think it's utterly important, that it's super super important to 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 figure out how to respond instead of react, right? Um, when you feel backed into a corner, when things are not going the way you want them to, how are you responding and or reacting? Would anybody be willing to share? Because I have some ideas about how other people do it. I definitely have some ideas about how I do it. Um, so yeah, so Jason says, what I mean by that is that you're doing with the same thing. Oh, that I'm dealing with the same thing when it says that you know the feeling, how to act at the same time going back to where I come from, back to this all the time. Why why did I call you out, Jason? Yeah, bro. Check it out. Like, right? Why am I reading your mail? Right? I tend to believe that when one person goes through this, a lot of people go through it. And it's quite interesting. Jan, thank you so much, Jan, for being on the show today. Jan says, I learned not to react. Sometimes it may take a day or so before I say anything. If I say anything, first of all, I look at myself. Very, very, very nice. I love what you're saying about if you say anything at all. I like that. I like that. Here we go. Bertha is saying the goal is to take a breath and remember the truth of who I am. Yeah, and how easy is that? You know, I gotta tell you that I'm not always good at that. As a matter of fact, the closer you are to me, the more sometimes that kind of stuff goes out the window, right? And because it feels like so personal, right? And it's just like, what the what? Um, you know, it's interesting to be able to pause, kind of like what Bertha's talking about, and also what Jan is talking about. You learn not to react. And my question is, you know, when I don't react or when I don't quickly respond, am I betraying myself? You know, does it feel like a sense of self-betrayal, not speaking my current truth, kind of swallowing it? um, you know, or like Bertha says, you know, to take a breath and remember the truth of who I am. Um, because I know a reaction is like knee jerk. It's just kind of like it it hits something and then boom. I know Reverend Kevin 2 Sundays ago, and if you want to check it out, I'm gonna invite you to go to our website and check out 2 Sundays ago. Actually, yeah, on the 12th, Reverend Kevin from Vida Spiritual Learning Center, my assistant minister and an amazing man, gave a great talk about what's love got to do with it. And how to respond in a, you know, in a loving way and to watch what happens. I mean, for me, what I recognize about me is that when I feel attacked or when I feel someone's coming at me or somebody's like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," whatever the case may be, I know that I withhold. And it's kind of like that's my reaction, right? My reaction is that I withhold. And it's like, well, you ain't getting my love, you ain't getting my attention, you ain't getting this. Oh, if that's who I am, if that's who you think I am, then pa 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 pa. Um, and mind you, I don't have a lot of conflict in my life, but I know that that is how I react, and that immediately it's to withhold. And Jan says that sometimes I ask myself, what does this feeling remind me of? And often it's an old pain was touched. Absolutely. And even Bertha saying here, like, I don't have much of a filter. Expressing my truth with kindness is my challenge. And it's my challenge too. Like, what is my truth? Like, and how do I say that? Not from a place of frustration, because it's kind of like, okay, one more time? Like, what? Or how do I, as you said, Bertha, how do I take a breath and remember the truth about who I am? That the truth about who I am is not what somebody else says. right? Even Jason is saying here, it's like sometimes not to sound off is what the right answer is, not the payment, not paying attention to it. Yeah, like not to sound off, like, and immediately what I am drawn back to is this opportunity for prayer, right? Like if I could just remember to pray. Now, here's the deal. There's all kinds of prayer. At the Spiritual Learning Center, we teach prayer, and we teach, various types of prayer. And for many of us, like you and me, I know the Serenity Prayer. And what's interesting about the Serenity Prayer, what's interesting about the Serenity Prayer is that the Serenity Prayer has God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That in those moments where I feel myself escalating, or feel myself getting upset, or feel myself trying to have to defend myself or to prove who I am, what if I just engaged in prayer? Jan says, yes, always. Jason says, yes, always. Jan says, yes, right? And being able to pause, right? I love that when Bertha says, the goal is to pause and take a breath. And what is that? Like how do I pause? How do I pause? I don't always pause. I'm not always 100% perfect on that. Yeah, Jason says sometimes it's okay to just say I'm sorry and I love you very much. And, in those moments, how do I speak my truth, but speak it with some honesty and some kindness? And what might be kind to someone else might not be kind to me, or everybody else has a different level of what's kind or what's rude or not rude. I think that in these moments here, the moments of upset, the moments of feeling attacked, or the moments of stress and anxiety, to be able to pause and to simply engage in the Serenity Prayer. I do a whole 4-week class on the Serenity Prayer and the power of the Serenity Prayer. And I've taught that class a handful of times already. And it's so interesting that even teaching it and teaching others about it, how sometimes for me, I forget to use it. And I teach the daggone thing. Sunny Day says, I noticed that when I was asked to stop and listen in the middle of talking, I realized wasn't listening. I get a new perspective, not the old assumed answer. And I pray. Yeah, like how many times am I really listening? Or am I just hearing with already having the mind chatter to talk about the defense or the upset or whatever it is? Yeah, it's quite the thing to be able to pause and say, God, internal spirit, indwelling, I am presence, great creator. As some of my friends say, Mother Earth, Father Sky, infinite intelligence, great reality, higher power, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? The peace, like inside of me is that serenity already. Inside of me is that peace. inside of me is that idea that peace and the answer already lies there. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I can't change that person. I can't change the way that person thinks about me, sees me. I can't change the circumstance or the situation. I could change the story I tell about what just happened. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. If I can't change it, I can't change it. Right? I don't have to put up with it. I don't have to be around it. I don't have to engage in it. Right? But grant me the serenity to accept it. This is the way it is. Here's the behavior. Here's the intent is definitely, at times different than the outcome, than the impact. But here is what is. Did this happen? Yes or no? The behavior is there. The proof is there. Like, this happened. Help me accept that reality. Grant me the serenity to accept that reality. Here's what is. Not what I wish it could have been, or you're not this person, or whatever. Here's who's presented. Here's who's presented. Okay, got it. Right? Accept the things I cannot change, right? Grant me that serenity to accept the courage to change the things I can. What can I change? I could change me. I'm the only one. Jan says, sometimes I don't know what to do with the person after. I am a runner. I hear you. I hear you. What do I do with this person afterwards? Now, mind you, we are created for connection, human connections, friendships, love, business relationships, neighbors, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I had a conflict with a business partner, and he was pissed at me. He was pissed at me, and I was upset with him. Like, he had expectations, I had expectations. The bottom line was that we both had unspoken expectations, and it's just like, this is a courageous conversation that we're having, and why did you do such and such? Well, when I looked, here's what you had done. I had no clue. Here's what you did. And here, this was because of this. Okay, I understand. I get that, right? Like, and even in marriages, even in relationships, it's like, how come you're not doing this? Or how come this happened? Or what's going on? Or how come I don't know about this? Like, all the time, those kinds of things happen. I got to remember, for me, and Jan, sounds like it's the same for you, right? Like, boom, that's a great opportunity for serenity prayer, right? The courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. Like, what can I change? I could change me. I can stop being so angry and upset, and not because I'm just going to stop and turn the switch off, but I'm going to express it. I'm going to express it. I'm tired of holding it in. It's like, I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm pissed off about this. Here's what I resent. Here's what I don't like. And just to kind of put it out there. I think that sometimes, even when we take a look at gender roles and how we've been raised in the U.S. and society, that sometimes even in gender expression, that sometimes, it's not polite to be angry, or we're taught that we can't be honest and we have to stuff it. And it's like, I don't like that. But can I, like Bertha said earlier, oh my gosh, let me grab Bertha's comment again here. I don't have much of a filter. Expressing my truth with kindness is my challenge. And that's, I think that's it. That it is that challenge about expressing self, and expressing self in a way that that we can do that without running, and that we can do that with kindness, but still express the depth of our anger or our hurt, and do so not from the reactive mind, but to do so from the response, from the place of response, of like, here's our connection. And we can decide whether, Jan, this connection is going to continue to go forward or whether this connection is not going to continue to go forward. I think it all deserves more and more love and attention and talk and more of that serenity prayer deal. And so that's the offering today. The offering today is simply to utilize the serenity prayer as our time is up for today. Utilizing that serenity prayer, it's a great reminder for me. I think that sometimes, I think I'm doing these shows for somebody else, but I'm totally doing the show for myself as a reminder, to pray, and that all prayer works. And another form of prayer is gratitude. And so the invitation now, as always, is the opportunity for you to join our gratitude group. It is individual. You send me your gratitude list, I send you mine. Sometimes it's just one thing that I'm just simply grateful for that particular day or even in that moment. Gratitude is also a form of prayer. So, beloveds, I'm going to close with this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thanks for tuning in. See you here next week. Bye for now.